Want to keep up with the latest Camodo gaming videos? Be sure to subscribe and click that bell. Hello YouTube, Camodo Gaming here, bringing you guys another episode of Stormworks Build and Rescue. And yes folks, we are back once again, and today we are back with another build episode. So today I'm going to be attempting something that I might not be the most comfortable with, but I want to try it out because I have kind of this thing pictured in my head and I'm not sure it's going to work. So a lot of people were wanting to see a floating base, and I'm thinking of a floating base slash tsunami survival shelter slash something that can go underwater and kind of anchor to the bottom of the ocean. And yeah, I don't know if I can build that. We're going to see here today. So anyways, I have this pictured in my head. I'm going to go ahead and start on it. If you guys are enjoying the build episodes on the channel, maybe hit that thumbs up button. And if you guys have any suggestions for this build or any future builds, comment below. But let's go ahead and jump into the editor. Alright, so this thing, I think the base of it's going to be orange. At least, I think it's going to be. We could probably change that up a bit. But I'm going to go ahead and see how big are we going to need to build this. And I'm picturing like a floating platform. Now, we've played with some creations that are pretty similar to this. So I think that I can maybe pull this off here today. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with like a big platform here. We'll do it on each side. I'm not really sure how big this is going to need to be. My thought is that this is going to be like the, I guess you can call it the hole, but it's also going to be an area that's going to hold water that will sink the whole platform down into the ocean. And then I'll probably have some mag-alls on the bottom of it, and it'll anchor itself maybe on the corners. So basically, I'm going to break this down here. I don't even know if this is going to be the correct size. We'll probably change this up a bit. So what I'm saying is, we're going to look at this thing from the top. So I'm thinking the engine's going to be in the middle. The center compartment's probably going to be fuel. It'll probably be a fairly big fuel tank. And then the outside compartments will be, I guess you can call it like a ballast or something. It's going to have pumps on the bottom, and it should be able to pump itself full of water. Now, I don't know if that's going to be enough water. We might have to make the water travel up into the walls of the base. That way we can get this thing down on the bottom of the ocean. So I'm going to go ahead and skip the engine building part because it is going to be advanced, but it's something that I think I've showed you guys several times before, and if you guys haven't kind of figured out how to do this, there's definitely a lot of really good tutorials on how to build a advanced engine. So let me go ahead and jump into this, and we'll see what we can get into. Alright, so this is what I've come up with so far. I know it looks a little odd. I don't know if this is going to be deep enough. Like, I think I might have to travel down and make it a little bit deeper, but you can kind of see how I was breaking stuff down. So we have the engine here in the center. It's going to be a big diesel engine. There's your battery. I haven't done the piping yet, but my thought is that this little compartment here is going to hold fuel. So I put a fuel spawner down here, and then these outside compartments where you can see I've kind of put a little wall there. I'll have fluid ports in the bottom of this and pumps, and it should pump water into this base. And hopefully it'll sink it. I didn't want to make it too like big, but I think this is going to be sufficient. I think I might actually have a multi-level base. So we'll have like one story will be the base, maybe the airlock area, and then we'll have some supplies and stuff down there. And then there will be an upper part that might be a little bit smaller, and it could house some other things, maybe some cabins or something. But I think this is going to turn out really, really nice. Now, I did want to actually put windows in the bottom of this thing to see out the, I guess, down in the ocean floor. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do that because I need to have fluids and stuff down on the bottom of this thing. So I'm going to have to scratch that. But I do want a bunch of windows on this. All right, let me go ahead and continue to work here. All right, so we have a bit more progress to show you guys. I did hook up the advanced engine. I told you guys I was going to go ahead and skip that part. So I've kind of made everything right here in the center, but I think I've been able to seal this thing off. That was a bit of a challenge. You could see that it looks a little messy right now, but I'm going to go ahead and build up this center part. And I think the bottom floor is going to be in this U shape. And then the second floor, you'll have access to the complete floor because there won't be an engine in the way. So you can see I've run the exhaust out the back. I might run those up. We have the air pipe that goes up. You've got all the power here. We've got the generator. We'll see if these little props are in the right spot. These might need to be moved down. I really hope this thing floats. That is my biggest fear, that I've done all this work and it's not going to float at all. But yeah, you can see I did cut down the water tanks on the side. I had to, I guess I could have not done that. Maybe I will cut that wall out. I cut it out to kind of keep it dry here with these pipes and the propellers in the bottom. But I really don't think that's necessary. I might be able to actually flood these. Oh yeah, you know what? I think the reason I wanted to do that was because when I ran this pipe through here, I didn't want water getting into the engine. Yeah, but I think this is going fairly well. I'm still a little uncomfortable with what I'm doing here, but yeah, let's hope for the best. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go ahead and seal off the tops here. I'll add the pumps and stuff here in a minute, down to the sides, but I need to figure out how these walls are going to look, because I do think I'm going to hold water in the outer walls, and then maybe not in the front, but I think on the sides here. So let's continue to work. All right, so I've built up some walls here. Let's see, I'm going to kind of explain this to you. So I did put a door on the back. This is going to be the airlock system. So I guess you call it airlock. We're going to have another door probably about right... I'm going to go ahead and mark it real quick for myself. We'll have another door about right there. I'll seal this side off to the engine. We'll have the pumps in here. It'll probably be the little small pumps. That way you can flood this area or you can get the water out of it. We'll have some scuba gear on the wall over here to the side. And then this whole area is going to be pretty open. I think I'm going to add windows to the front here. And then we'll have like a staircase on the side, or a ladder, I'm not really sure yet. And it'll lead up to the second floor. But I wanted to show you guys this. These are the walls I was talking about. So these are open, and these actually run all the way down to the open area in the bottom. So the walls themselves should be able to flood too. That way we make sure we get enough weight. So say like a tsunami's coming, or if you just want to go to the bottom of the ocean and kind of look at it, you'll be able to just hit a button. It'll flood these areas. You'll go down, attach yourself to the bottom of the ocean, and then once you're through, you'll be able to detach yourself and I guess you can say blow the ballast and come back up. Is it really a ballast if it completely floods yourself and makes you sink, or is it called something else? I'm not really sure. All right, so we are ready for another progress update. So I'm going to be skipping a lot of the building for now, but I will jump in here in a moment and we'll do some live building. I kind of want to just focus on this because this is a project that I'm not really sure if it's going to actually work. So you can see the door here. I actually added a camera. I think it'd be kind of cool to be able to see people before they come in to the airlock. You can come in here. I've set up the buttons. I think this is all going to work. So I've got two buttons on the side. You can see the two red buttons on your left side there. There's a camera above it. There's the little fluid pumps. And there's your diving gear there. So that would lead you into this area, which I painted the floors. We have a little staircase that leads up to the next floor. So also back here under the stairs, I added some equipment. And I added a little window where you can see the engine. I just thought that'd be a nice little touch. You could see it going there. Might have to add a fire suppression system to that. Maybe I'll stick a button on the side of the window, so if you see it's on fire or something bad has happened, you can click a button there. But anyways, I'm going to build a top to this. It's not going to be, like, complete on this top floor. Like, it's not going to cover the whole thing, because if not, you get kind of like an awkward tower look. I think I want it to be a little skinnier, and I think I'm going to make, like, slanted windows in the front that are going to come back. So we'll do something like that, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do as far as the rooms. I just want to make sure, I want to get to the point to where this thing actually floats and floods itself this episode. I don't know if I'm going to get all the rooms done. Alright, so I think I've just about designed the top here. So we're going to jump into some live building now. I just really wanted to focus on this. It took a little bit to, actually I'm not even really sure if I'm happy with this. I think I'm happy with it. Let me know what you guys think. I like the openness, and I like the way the center window here, you have the slanted pieces, and you got kind of like a skylight, and I kind of changed up. You know, it actually looks a bit like a spaceship or something, like something from Star Trek. But I'm pretty happy with this. I have kind of put myself in a box a little bit because there's not a ton of room up here, so it might be a little awkward, and there might be just rooms on the side, say the side away from the stairs, and then you'll have the cockpit in the front. Or I might have to change this up completely. Not 100% sure. I like the design, though, but it kind of looks like a... I guess you could almost say like a passenger ferry or something. So say you have the cars in the bottom and you have the passengers up at the top. Maybe that's what this is. It's like a mobile tsunami shelter passenger ferry thing. Yeah, that's not really making sense, is it? All right, folks, before I start working on the cockpit, I think I should go ahead and spawn this thing. So please float, please float, please float. Oh, I have it backwards. Are you serious? Hey, it floats. Hey, it... Uh-oh. Okay, so I have a feeling that's why I didn't install the pumps yet in the bottom. I have a feeling the base needs to be taller. Maybe a little bit wider, because, yeah, it's floating, but it's floating about, I would say, 2 to 3 blocks below where I want it to be. So, yeah, because ideally you'd be able to hit this ladder in the back. Actually, we can go ahead and check and make sure these pumps work real quick. Man, this is a project. I mean, this isn't nearly as advanced as stuff on the workshop and all the really dedicated creators, but for me, this is a project. So let's see if these pumps work. So I can flood these. Okay, go ahead and close the door. All right, so we've trapped some water in here. Which one's the... Oh, one of these actually drains. I think it's the top one. So I've hit... Oh, actually, this one floods it. So the top one's flood. I haven't marked these yet. The bottom one should be drain. Come on. It looks, yeah, it's working. Okay, so the airlock indeed does work. All right, man, it drains a little slow, doesn't it? Almost there, and we are drained. All right, so we can click the next button. We'll walk into here. We can go ahead and show you guys. This is the area. Now, it looks a lot bigger in the, I would say in the creator. Like, this area is not nearly as big as I pictured. But for our first base, I think this is going to work. So, yeah, I might be able to put, like, I guess a wall right here, and we can add some little rooms. Maybe the cabins and stuff will be on the bottom, and then you would ride and stuff up here. So we'll have, like, some rows of seats or something, and then the cockpit will be up here. Maybe put some spotlights on the top. I do like this open design, though. Like, there's a lot of windows here, and I love windows in Stormworks because you can see everything. You have, like, actually, I need to add some to the back here. I will be able to see, like, tsunamis, anything that would be coming towards this. Plus, once you're underwater, I think it'd be really nice to be able to see up above you and see all the fishes and stuff. All right, so I fixed all of my issues for the most part. It still sets a little low in the back, and I think I'm going to extend and make a small deck back here. That way it gives it a little bit more surface to float. And hopefully we'll fix my little bit of an issue right now with the whole fact that it's leaning pretty bad. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off, yeah, we're going to cut this whole back section off like this. That way it exposes everything, and we're just going to extend it. And it's going to make like a little deck. We'll probably put little railings on it. And overall, I think it'll look kind of cool, but it's also really, really necessary to help this thing float. Because, yeah, floating's a bit of an issue right now. Alright, I'm going to get back to work on this thing. Told you guys, it's going to be a little bit of a pain. I think we're only going to get, hopefully, to the point of this thing actually driving and sinking. I don't think we're going to do too much more with the interior. Just for the sole fact that this is going to take forever right now. Alright, so I have fixed our floating issue. I just needed to make the bottom float a little bit bigger. I might still add one more to the bottom just to get it a little bit more stable, but for the most part, it is out of the water now. And I think it's actually going to be able to drive here soon. So, folks, we're making progress. If you guys have any suggestions for this, definitely comment below. But I think the next thing we're going to work on real quick, I'm going to work on the cockpit. We're probably going to do a really basic design to begin with, just to prove that this thing actually works. And then we can always get into the bigger details later. Alright, so we're doing a little bit of designing on the cockpit here. It's not 100% how I'm going to want it, but it's just going to be a kind of a rough little design here to begin with, and then we can always change stuff up as needed. So I'm going to put a couple dials here, and we'll go ahead and put a couple of toggle switches on this side. Hold on, let's go ahead and correct this one. There we go. Alright, so that should be enough to get it started and potentially flood it. I haven't added the pumps in yet, which I'm about to do that. Let's go ahead and make sure we can get this thing fired up and ready to go here. Alright, so we are ready for a drive test here. So everything should be hooked up and ready to go. Let's let this thing level out. Also, I spun this thing around so it isn't aimed the wrong way anymore, so that should be good. There's no lights. It's pretty bare in here, but this is taking a long time for me to actually finish, or at least get to the point where I think this thing's going to work. Okay, so we got our starter here. Come on, please start. Okay, so it does start. Okay, so let's go. That's engine throttle there. And, oh, do I not need to clutch it? Okay, wait. Okay, so we're running. On, check everything over real quick. So we have a couple dials. I'm gonna have to move these back. That's your battery right there. You've got, I think this is engine temps right here. And this is RPS, which is, it's kind of glitchy at the moment. It is holding a charge at the moment, so that's a good sign. All right, she does float. She probably sets a little too low, I would imagine, in the rear end. I don't know. Once we get everything on the interior, it's going to completely change. Let's go ahead and check control method. Does it turn? Yes, it does. It does indeed turn. Wow. This is way more progress than I thought we were going to make today. All right, so it does turn. It controls actually fairly decent. I wouldn't say it's the most maneuverable thing, but it's not really supposed to be. It's going to be like a base. It's going to have tsunami protection and stuff like that. Now, here comes the big question. When I install these pumps, am I going to be able to sink this thing and attach it to the bottom? All right, a couple key features coming up. We got our magulls, which are on these little platforms. We'll be able to attach to the bottom, hopefully to the bottom of the sea there. You're going to still need a pretty flat spot because the platform's so big. So we've got that. I'll probably decorate those a little bit to make it look a little bit better. So the next thing we're going to need is going to be the pumps. All right, so I'm going to make some holes in the bottom of this. We're going to call those 2 there. Those are going to be the... Actually, we're going to make 2 more here. These will be the ports that are shooting the water in. And then we'll have the... We're going to call these the blow ports here. So these will blow the water out once we're done. So we'll go here and here. This is... I think this is actually going to work. I think I've left myself enough room in there. Hold on, let's make sure we don't have that in the fuel tank. No, it isn't. Okay, so that's good to go there. All right, so let me go ahead and install these real quick, and then we'll hook up a system for the pumps. All right, so we have pumps installed. So basically, these are the fluid ports down here. Actually, I think I need 4 pumps, technically. So fluid would go in. So we're going to take this over here, and we're going to actually run it... Actually, let's just make it a really short distance here. We're going to run this over to the ports on this side, and we'll go ahead and have these come out here. So these will be the ones that are going to be sucking up water. This is going to maybe work. So we'll do this, and then we'll redirect these pipes over towards the pump. And I'm just going to have it. I'm going to have it just blow the water out here. I think I am going to need another section of pumps, though, or at least another set of them. All right, so we have 4 large pumps in each side. I don't know if this is going to be enough. We'll have to see. So I think we're about ready to go. I just really have to hook these things up real quick, and that should be about it. All right, so I think we are ready for the ultimate test. So I have everything hooked up. Everything's probably not in its final spot. We'll have to do a lot more work on this thing. But I think for a work in progress, we're to the point to where it's going to hopefully function like it's supposed to. So let's go ahead and get into the driver's seat here. Turn that on there. There we go. And should be able to take off here. Okay, so I have toggle buttons on this side. These are going to be your pumps. One pumps in water, one blows water. And then over here, for a temporary measure, this is going to be your magulls here. What you can see, those are lit up there on the bottom. All right, so let's go ahead and get out fairly deep here real quick, and then we'll test and see if we can sink this thing. All right, this should be deep enough here. Let's go ahead and go down on the throttle. Actually, we want to keep this engaged. I have a feeling, is my clutch not working right? We'll have to see, because I feel like I shouldn't be moving right now. So if I throttle this way, I might have hooked something up wrong. Let's go ahead and just kill it real quick. All right, so let's go ahead. I think we're going to hit this one. Let's look and see what it's doing down here. Make sure the pumps are working. All right, so that is definitely putting water into this area. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. I don't know if this is going to do it fast enough. That's my only worry. Oh, wait, never mind. That's actually working pretty fast. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn on our magulls. That way, hopefully when we drop here, it's going to attach to the bottom. Ooh, I see a couple rocks down there, but we should be fine. All right, you can see the fronts going down. Okay, so I'm observing real quick how this thing fills up with water. It typically, like, it's wanting to lean towards the front, and I think it's because I have this front area open. I know it's hard for you guys to see this. I think I'm going to go ahead and open up this back section here, and I'm going to redo some of the piping. That way I can flood this area also. That way, hopefully, it'll distribute the weight a little bit more even. Also, I don't know if these tanks are quite big enough. Like, we're almost to the top here, and it hasn't gone down all the way. So I think if I open up that back and maybe I work a little bit more room into these here, we should have enough water inside of this to completely sink it. All right, so this is as far as our base is making it down. I told you guys it's going to be a little bit of trial and error. So what I'm going to be doing next, we probably won't do it this episode. I want to kind of make this into a mini series here. I think I'm going to extend right by these windows up maybe this area here by probably two blocks, I think, to give the tanks a little bit more room for water. And then, like I said earlier, I'm going to open up this back section to make it to where water is going to be able to go into the back. I might also add another set of pumps. That way this works a little bit faster. That way we can sink to the bottom of the ocean, because you can see we've kind of stalled out here. I guess the other question is, does this reverse? Okay, so if I turn these off and turn these on, is this going to start sucking out water? Did I do that right? I hope I did. Let's go back into photo mode here. We are going to hit this thing with a tsunami real quick, but I don't think we're going to be able to get the underwater portion here. So let's go boom. All right, so I don't see water spewing out of these inner pumps. So in theory, it's actually sucking out water right now, and this thing should come back to the surface. All right, so I can see the drains are working. They are working really, really slow, so I need to figure out a way to make this a little bit more efficient. They are draining because this thing was filled, but it's not at the speed that I was wanting, so that's definitely another thing we're going to have to check off the list too. I guess what we need to try out next is we're going to actually stick this thing against a tsunami and some waves and just see if this thing even holds up, because we'll have to maybe change the design once again, just in case this thing just wants to instantly go out there and flip. Alright, so we're out once again. So I guess for the first version of this, I'm actually fairly happy with it. The whole fact that it does work, it does somewhat sink, it just needs bigger tanks. I think, fundamentally, I think we're there. It's just, it's going to take quite a bit of work, and probably some suggestions from you guys. So what we're going to do as our last little test here, let's go ahead and let's just jack up these waves real quick, make it really aggressive. Make sure this thing doesn't have any sort of like flipping problem, which I don't think it's going to. It's actually fairly wide, and it's pretty long too, especially with the extension on the back now, which I think I'm going to add some handrails to the back of this thing. Maybe some equipment. Maybe there's a couple other things we can do here with the back of this. But yeah, look at that. It's actually doing pretty good with the waves that are right here. Let's go ahead and get a little bit deeper real quick just to test these out. All right, looking pretty good here. Oh, yes. Okay, so these aren't really an issue for this craft. Let's go ahead and I'm going to get the rain away. That way you can see a little bit better. Let's go ahead and spawn in the tsunami real quick. So ideally, when the tsunami's coming and when you see it, you're going to hit the flood, and I'm going to have enough pumps down there. That way this thing would drop ideally under about, I would say, 30 seconds. If I can get this thing to sink, that would be the time I think that you would be able to get under, especially if you weren't moving. Like right now, we're traveling towards the tsunami, so actually this looks really cool from the inside. Kind of like that. Might add I wonder if there's a wedge piece I can add to the corner here just to open those windows back up. Oh boy. There's our tsunami. All right, we're gonna see if this thing works. I mean, this is really not its intended purpose, but I want to see if we're going to survive. All right, here we go. Up the tsunami. Is it going to float up it, or is it going to sink under it? Up, up, up. Oh, no. Don't flip. Don't flip. On. Okay, we're up in the air, and the platform's going to land. And, wow. That was a little smoother than I expected. Huh? Okay. Well, that was a thing. Yeah, we actually made it through that fairly well. Maybe we didn't need to actually dunk ourselves underwater. That is awesome. All right, well, I think we're going to stop the episode here. I've been recording for a long time, and this the base itself took quite a while. We'll go ahead and continue to work on this throughout the next build episodes, kind of like what we did with the ship on our last build series. So thank you guys for all the love and support. Remember to comment below with suggestions for this build here, and we will see you guys next time.